Okay. Now let's deal with a decimal number जिसका हमें square root निकालना है, of which we have to find the square root. Consider this number 998.56. So the grouping should be the same. Over here also they've written starting from the decimal point, form the pairs of digits of integral part from right to left and the decimal part from left to right. Integral part मतलब decimal के left hand side में जो है उसको हम लोग integral part बोलते हैं. So if you have for example like this 1 2 3 4 5 point 678, just example के तौर पे बोल रहा हूँ. So how do you start pairing from the decimal part? This is integral, okay, this is integral part and this is the decimal part. Decimal point के left hand side में integral part, right hand side में decimal part होता है. So the integral part में the pairing should go from right to left, है ना? So in this case what you will be doing, from decimal you start making pair towards the left hand side. This is my first pair, this is my second pair, this is my third pair. हो गया ये pairing. Then decimal के लिए from decimal you have to pair towards right hand side. This is my first pair, this is my second pair. Okay, left to right, because decimal part में it's from left to right. Okay, ठीक है. Now in this case your number is 998.56. So decimal से this is your first pair, second pair, decimal के बाद से this is your one pair. So this is how you're going to do the pairing. Now now the first number is 9, which is perfect square, therefore we don't have to worry at all. So मैं ऊपर quotient में भी 3 लिखूंगा, divisor में भी 3 लिखूंगा and नीचे quotient का value as it is नीचे replicate किया मैंने. Now the next part is what? Here I'll be adding the quotient and the divisor. 3 plus 3, 6 I'll be getting, and over here 9 minus 9 I'm going to get 0, and the next part I've taken down, which is 98. Over here I have 6, then box cross box, box में same number डालना है. Obviously 61 multiplied by 1 only can give you some number which is less than or equal to 98. In this case 61 multiplied by 1 is how much? 61 itself. So 1 is your next quotient. So 3 was your first quotient, 1 is your next quotient, and again same story, you have to add these two numbers. 61 plus 1 is 62 over here, and 98 minus 61 is 37, and I've taken the next part over here. So in this case, when you since you have taken the decimal के बाद वाला part यहाँ पर लेके आया, then इसीलिए in the quotient also you have to put a decimal point over here. So after getting 1, you will put a decimal point because you are now going to consider the part which is coming after the decimal point. Okay. So in this case 3576 I have, and 62 I have. Box multiplied by box should be less than or equal to 3756. Now 6 was a multiple जो दोनों जगह पे डालने से 626 multiplied by 6 आपको 3756 मिल जाता है, which is giving you a zero remainder, which means it's a perfect square. And hence, since the 6 number was added over here, the 6 goes as your next quotient, which comes after decimal point, obviously. Hence, for this particular number, the square root value is 36. Is it clear?
Sir, how 36? 31.6.
Yeah, my bad. 31.6 it is. This is a printing mistake.
Sir,
Yep.
if the number was 998.6, then do we have to 0.60 we have to make, or directly we have to solve by 6 only?
You'll have to solve by 6 only.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Is there any shortcut to find the square root of particular number?
We have a few shortcuts. I'll come to those shortcuts. That situation to situation थोड़ा vary करता है. I'll come to those shortcuts. Don't worry. Okay. ठीक है. Now, let's deal with cube roots. Okay. Now, basically, what is a cube root? Before understanding cube root, let's understanding cube. What is a cube? So cube is basically multiplying, like for example, if I'm writing 4 cube in this case, 4 cube is basically multiplying 4 itself 3 times. 2 cube means multiplying 2 itself 3 times. This is called as cube. So 4 cube, obviously 4 into 4 into 4 is basically 64, and this one is 8. So obviously the ulta of this, the reverse or the inverse of this is basically cube root. So cube root of 64. How do we represent cube root? You will directly write square root and यहाँ पर छोटा सा एक 3 लिखना है, just like how they have done over here. So square root का ये जो शेप है, इस शेप के अंदर उस 3 को बिठाना है. Okay, otherwise what happens, sometimes some people ना write like this. So ये देखकर how will I know whether it is a cube root? मुझे तो ये देख के ऐसा लग रहा है ना कि it's 3 multiplied by root of 10. It looks like that. So when you are writing cube root, you'll have to be very careful. You will always have to make sure कि ये जो V shape है इसके अंदर ही 3 लिखना है आपको. Okay, so cube root looks like this, and of any number. Like in this case, 4 का cube is 64. Therefore, cube root of 64 is going to be 4. Similarly, cube root of 8 is going to be 2, and so on. Okay, this much is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
now in this case, see, square root के case में I have already told you कि negative numbers तो आता ही नहीं है, because तुम जब भी square करोगे, whenever you are squaring the negative numbers, you will never get, you will always get positive numbers only. But in case of cubing में क्या होता है? I'll just give you an example. For example, if you are going to do 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, all are positive numbers. So plus multiplied by plus is plus. Plus multiplied by plus is plus. Therefore, your answer is also plus of 8. Now, if you are cubing minus 2, this was 2 cube. Now I'm going to do minus 2 ka cube. It's minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 multiplied by minus 2. So obviously 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 is 8. Minus and minus gives you plus. Okay, these two symbols gives you plus. And then when you take this minus, plus and minus combines to give you minus. So I hope it's clear. Minus and minus combines to give you plus. And then the third minus अभी तक मैंने लिया ही नहीं है. So ये पहले दो माइनस का जो भी आंसर है उसके आंसर को मैं थर्ड माइनस के साथ कंबाइन करूंगा. So whatever is the answer of whatever is the solution of my first two solving, I will be combining the first second solution with the third one. So plus when combines with minus, the answer becomes minus. Therefore, in this case, your answer is going to be minus 8. Am I clear so far? So when you're taking a cube,
Yes, sir.
when you're taking a cube, negative number is possible. And logically
Yes.
speaking, positive number ka cube will always be positive and negative number ka cube will always be negative. Similarly, 4 cube is 64, which means minus 4 ka cube will be how much? Tell me.
Minus 64.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Wonderful. Minus 64. So my point is, in case of cube root, so logically speaking, अभी चलो इसी का उल्टा, ये जो क्या ना उसका उल्टा. Cube root of 8 is how much?
2. Cube root of 8
Two.
is 2.
Very good.
Two.
Cube root of minus 8 will be
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
minus
Minus
2. Now, cube root of 64,
4.
4.
4. Now, cube root of minus 64.
Minus
Minus
4.
4.
Minus 4.
Minus 4.
From this one logic is very clear. Cube of a positive number is positive. Cube of a negative number is negative. That's what we have discussed over here. Now, similarly, cube root of a positive number is positive. Cube root of a negative number is negative. That's what we have discussed over here. Am I clear?
Yes.
I'm proceeding further. Okay. Now, to find the cube root by factorization method. Factorization method is a very simple method. It's just like the one we used to do for the squares. Same to same, कुछ फर्क नहीं है. ओके, फर्क सिर्फ इतना है कि पहले हम लोग पेयर बनाते थे 2 का, अभी पेयर बनाना है 3 का. दैट्स इट. सो व्हाटएवर नंबर यू हैव, ये जो भी नंबर है ना, उनके फैक्टर्स निकालो. योर फर्स्ट स्टेप इज फाइंड द फैक्टर्स. तो आप क्या करेंगे, सबका प्राइम फैक्टर्स निकालेंगे. ओके, देन क्या करना है आपको, ग्रुप करना है फैक्टर्स में. लेकिन ये ग्रुप के अंदर कितने नंबर्स होने चाहिए, कितने रेपिटेशंस होने चाहिए, 3 रेपिटेशंस. यू विल हैव टू फाइंड 3 रेपिटेशंस. सो प्रीवियसली वी यूज्ड टू मेक अ पेयर ऑफ 2 or group of 2. Now we are going to make a group of 3. Similarly over here again 3. Over here again 3. मान लो हाइपोथेटिकली ये नीचे वाला 3 अगर एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता, देन आई वुड हैव सेड दिस इज नॉट अ क्यूब रूट. मतलब इसका क्यूब रूट पॉसिबल होगा ही नहीं. मतलब प्योर क्यूब रूट पॉसिबल नहीं होता. ओके, सो सिंस यहाँ पर 3 है, यस. नाउ दिस पेयर इज किसका, 2 का. दिस पेयर किसका है, 2 का. एंड दिस पेयर इज ऑफ 3. यू हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई ओनली दीज 3 numbers. 2 into 2 into 3, your answer becomes 12. ओके, सुपर सो क्लियर. अभी तक कोई डाउट है किसी को?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Great. Now let's try to do some solved examples. Okay. Now, first of all, the first example, obviously they have given solution. I don't want you to directly. Yes, Dian, tell me. Okay, I thought you were raising your
100
hand.
minus 64. 100 minus 64 is 36 and 36 square root is 6. So answer is B.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So, in this case, first of all, 100 minus 64. Let me ask you one thing. क्या मैं इसको ऐसे लिख सकता हूँ क्या? Can I say that this can also be written as this?
No, sir.
No,
Because
sir,
we
because
do
you can-
multiplication
subtraction.
or
Sir, you can
division.
only break a square root when it's multiplication.
Very good, very good. I'm really proud of you guys. Very good. In the beginning itself, I had told you कि आप common भी ले सकते हैं. You can take common or you can distribute or you can break only when there is pure multiplication or division involved. Here, it's a subtraction. Therefore, you cannot do it. Okay, very good, very good. So which means this is definitely not my answer. In the first place only I know that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply do the subtraction. So 100 minus 64 is 36. Root of 36 is 6. क्योंकि उसके ऊपर स्क्वायर रूट है. बोलना मत. कभी कभी स्टूडेंट्स व्हाट डू दे डू, अरे देसी 36 अरे टिक कर दो. नो, डोंट डू दैट. Because your answer is not 36, your answer is root of 36. Root of 36 is 6, which is nothing but B. Like excellent. I really appreciate it. Now, over here, first of all, like first option, as you can see, the question itself is written in the first option. You will say, sir, ये तो correct ही होगा ना? Yes, I'm not saying, I'm
हाँ,
not
वही है.
denying the fact. I'm not denying the fact कि वो correct नहीं है. Yes, वो correct हो सकता है. हो सकता है. Only if अगर बाकी के, but मैं बोलूंगा कि पहले ना बाकी के तीनों ऑप्शन एक बार देख लेना. पहले बाकी के तीनों ऑप्शन देख लेना. अगर तीनों ऑप्शन मैच नहीं कर रहा है तो इसको टिक कर देना. लेकिन अगर तीनों में से कोई भी एक ऑप्शन मैच कर रहा है तो उसको ही टिक करना. Why? Because generally ना क्वेश्चन एज इट इज आंसर में रिपीट करने का हमारा एक स्टाइल कभी होता ही नहीं है. क्वेश्चन को कुछ ना कुछ तो सिंप्लीफाई करने का स्टाइल होता ही हमेशा. सो ऑलवेज ट्राई टू सिंप्लीफाई द क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट. इफ एट ऑल द क्वेश्चन इज the simplified format of the question is not matching with any of these, then only you will say that this is the correct answer. Yes, Dian, tell me.
The answer is C, na 13 upon 12.
I'll calculate and tell you. I have not yet calculated. Okay. Before calculating, I'm just discussing few possibilities. अभी कैसे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स बोलेंगे सर मैं ओके मैं आपके सामने जस्ट एक दिखाता हूँ. क्या मैं ऐसे कर सकता हूँ?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Because there is
No,
no
sir. It's not
multiplication in
multiplication,
between or
even if
division.
Not allowed.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. बढ़िया है. तो ऐसे आप नहीं कर सकते. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू डू, इसके अंदर आप एलसीएम निकालेंगे. सो अंडर रूट के अंदर यू विल बी राइटिंग दिस एज 144 प्लस 25 अपॉन 144. ओके.
Sir, according to what you had written earlier, the answer would have been D, na? If you would have broken it.
Yes, yes,
Then would
yes,
have
Sir,
been D,
it's
na?
13 upon 12, no?
yes. In this case, yes, you are absolutely correct, Yatharth. So numerator becomes 169 and the denominator becomes 144. In this case आप तो जानते ही हो कि ओवरऑल स्क्वायर रूट है तो भी, सिंस इनके बीच में प्योर डिवीजन है तो मैं इजीली स्क्वायर रूट को ब्रेक कर सकता हूँ. तो स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 169 is 13 and square root of 14 is 144 is 12. Hence your answer is option C. Now even though I know that this is also correct, this is also correct, but मैं आंसर शीट में किसको करेक्ट करूंगा? सिर्फ C को ही करेक्ट करूंगा, because C is the simplified format. Okay. Proceeding further.
Sir,
हाँ बोलिए.
if it was multiplication in the between, then answer was 5 by 12.
मल्टीप्लीकेशन करते तो 5/12 हो सकता था. यस, 5/12 नहीं रे, 5/12 को मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 1. हाँ बरोबर, करेक्ट होता था.
Okay,
5/12 होता था. Now going to the third one, 3 square plus 4 square. तो पहले आपको 3 स्क्वायर करना पड़ेगा अलग सा. ऑब्वियसली दिस इज नॉट माय आंसर एंड इन दिस केस मैं इसको भी आंसर नहीं बोल सकता हूँ, बिकॉज यहाँ पर भी आप देख रहे हो ना. सो दिस वाज इंडिविजुअल स्क्वायर. ये इंडिविजुअल स्क्वायर को इसने क्या किया? कॉमन निकाला बाहर. तो विच इज नॉट अलाउड, बिकॉज एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन में वी नेवर अलाउ दीज थिंग्स, राइट? सो दीज टू थिंग्स आर डेफिनेटली नॉट माय आंसर. देन व्हाट विल बी माय आंसर? 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 9 plus 16 25. 25 का square root is my answer. This is how you have to solve every time. Okay. For the fourth question, there is only one number. That number is what? 35, obviously, in this case. By the way, since we are into this number, I would like to give you a shortcut. Okay. मतलब इस पे आगे बढ़ने के पहले आई वुड लाइक टू गिव यू अ शॉर्टकट. whenever you might be knowing the shortcut also, so whenever you are going to find the square of any number which is ending with 5, there is a simple technique to it. So 35 का स्क्वायर अगर आपको निकालना होगा, so 5 का स्क्वायर 25 you will write by default. Then you have to take the number previous to 5, उसको उठा लो, उसको उसके नेक्स्ट नंबर के साथ मल्टीप्लाई करो. 3 after 3 the next number is 4. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. You simply write 12 over here. Your answer is going to be 1225. So every time 35 square is 1225. Similarly 45 के लिए I'll write 25 over here. उसके बाद में क्या लिखना है मुझे?
20.
20
4
because 4
और
into
उसके
5
आगे का नंबर.
बाद में का नंबर. चलो next 55 के लिए I'll write 25 over here. Then what I'll write?
3025.
3025.
Correct. 5 into 6 and so on. So ये टेक्निक दिमाग में रख लेना. Okay. So since we were dealing
Sir?
with that topic, बोलिए.
105 का स्क्वायर निकालना तो हम कैसे करेंगे?
Same method, same method. 105 का square, it's 25. Then 10 को आप 11 के साथ मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए.
110.
110.
बस हो गया.
11025.
Okay, sir.
Okay. हाँ तो हाँ over here 35 1 1. हाँ इन्होंने दिया है कि अंडर रूट ऑफ 1225 is 35. Then under root of 1225 plus under root of 12.25 plus under root of 0.1225 will be how much? So first of all, you should know that under root of by the way, here what they have done is wrong. You are not supposed to do this. This is a wrong. This is a mistake. Okay, please ignore this. It's a mistake. It's a printing
Sir,
error.
in book it is given correctly.
In the book, it is given correctly. चलो बढ़िया है. So 1225 का square root you will directly write as 35. Now 12.25 का square root. How to adjust the decimal? I'm going to tell that. Okay. So I'll first give you the lamba logic and then I'll give you the shortcut. Okay. First I'll explain the logic. Now
Sir, even in the
12.25.
book it is.
Sorry.
Sir, even in the book it is given wrong.
अच्छा, in some books probably they have given wrong. Maybe in some books they have given right. कुछ हो सकता है कि कुछ पुराने प्रिंट्स होंगे, कुछ नए प्रिंट्स होंगे, इसमें कुछ कुछ एरर्स रहे होंगे. प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक्स हो जाता है कभी कभी. सो या इसको हम लोग कैसे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं? नाउ 12.25 को यू कैन डू वन थिंग. यू कैन राइट दिस एज 1225 डिवाइडेड बाय 100. कैन यू डू दैट? इज इट पॉसिबल टू डू दैट? Yes, it is possible to do
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yes.
Which means under root of this can be written as under root of this. Now I know that 1225 ka square root is what? 35 and 100 ka square root is what? 10. Therefore my answer becomes 3.5. Am I clear this much?
Yes.
ठीक है. Now ये हो गया तुम्हारा actual logic. This is the real logic behind this. Now when you're मतलब shortcut अगर करना रहेगा तो I'll tell you. So 1225 you have 12.25. You भूल जाओ कि भाई तुम्हारे पास डेसिमल था. डेसिमल के बिना तुम अगर पढ़ोगे तो 1225 है. You will write 35 as your answer. Then इस पे लास्ट में डेसिमल के बाद कितने डिजिट्स है? 2 डिजिट्स है. जितने भी डिजिट्स है उसका हाफ कर देना है यहाँ पर. सो इन द स्क्वायर रूट वाले नंबर पे if there are 2 digits after the decimal, in the real number you will have to put only 1 digit after the decimal. So you will have to put the decimal after the first digit. Therefore you will write it as 3.5. Yes, Naitik, tell me.
Sir, I had a doubt. Means general doubt that if two square numbers are added, means two perfect squares are added, then will always be their sum be a perfect square?
No, never. मतलब not
Okay,
never,
sir.
but it's not always compulsory. It can be anything. अगर luck by chance perfect square हुआ तो हुआ, otherwise it is not compulsory. Okay. But
Okay,
when
sir.
you are multiplying two perfect squares, their answer will always be a perfect square. In case of multiplication,
And division also, no?
let me just think. In case of division, it may or may not. I'm just
Okay,
thinking.
sir.
I'm just
Sir,
thinking.
but whenever we
Yeah,
whenever we
it
add
it will
two
be. It will be.
consecutive,
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
sir.
so whenever we add two consecutive perfect squares, it will always be another perfect square.
In fact, I was when I'm thinking, I feel when you're dividing two perfect squares, then the answer should be a perfect square only. Any two perfect square. I don't see when I'm thinking, I don't see any exceptions. So I feel that they should be perfect square all the time. Okay. Yes, Yatharth, what is your query?
Sir, um, sir, what if there's a sir, a perfect square, sir, like the 2√3 thing in the denominator. So I don't get that part.
Hmm, have we dealt such
So
cases so far?
no, sir.
अभी तक नहीं हुआ
But
ना,
it was
तो
like a
let's wait.
general thing.
ठीक है.
Okay, okay, sir.
तो देखते हैं. अभी
Sir,
जिस
in
केस से स्टार्ट
seventh
ही किया
mega
है.
finals.
Okay, don't worry. मतलब I'll help you out. Rationalizing से हम लोग उसको solve कर सकते हैं. But let's do one thing. Let's देख लेते हैं कि इसके अंदर वैसे cases cover होंगे क्या. आप एक काम करो यथर. You can just write down your query and let's first solve
Yes,
this
sir.
and solve the worksheet also. And इसमें और worksheet में
Okay,
अगर
sir.
वैसे example नहीं मिल रहे हैं, then you can ask in the end.
Okay, sir.
Okay, wonderful. हाँ, तो as I was discussing, चलो first वाला तो मैंने बोल दिया. तो in this case 12.25 becomes what? 3.5. So I've written 3.5 over here. And for the next one also, I've already given you the technique. So 1225, you forget that there is a decimal point. भूल जाओ कि decimal point है. सिर्फ 1225 है. So आप क्या करेंगे इसको? मैं इधर लिख रहा हूँ 0.1225 इज इक्वल टू, मैं 35 लिख दिया. अब डेसिमल किधर लिखना है? पहले केस में डेसिमल के राइट हैंड साइड में कितने डिजिट्स थे? 4. तो उसका आधा. आई हैव ऑलवेज टोल्ड यू हाफ ऑफ इट. प्रीवियसली वी हैड 2, देन आई मेड इट 1. हियर वी हैव 4, सो आई हैव टू मेक इट 2. सो ये 2 डिजिट्स को मुझे डेसिमल के राइट हैंड साइड पे डालना है, व्हिच मींस डेसिमल को उनके लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में डालना है. देयरफॉर माय आंसर इन दिस केस इज गोइंग टू बी 0.35. सो दिस स्क्वायर रूट इज गोइंग टू बी 0.35. एंड देन सिंपल एडिशन. 35 plus 3.5 plus 0.35 आप ऐड करेंगे. ऐड करना तो आप जानते ही हो. You will get the answer to be 38.85. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Sir, you said for
Yeah.
division that perfect squares division, but if we take 36 upon 25, then we will get 6 upon 5, which is means it doesn't happen, no, 1.2.
Fractional perfect square it is. 36 upon 25. Okay. When you're dividing, see, what was your question? Your question was, sir, can we divide? So after dividing, will we get a perfect square? So when I'm trying to divide 36 upon 25, first of all, I won't be able to divide it. Am I correct? Is this
Yes,
division
sir.
possible? No. So this is
No,
the
sir.
most reduced form. So when you take a square root of it, after taking square root, you are going to get 6 by 5. But your question was different. Your question was, after dividing, will it be a perfect square? So after dividing, yes, this is a perfect square, this is a perfect square. So yes, it is a perfect square. Do you see my point?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understood, sir.
Ha.
Okay, sir.
Uh, like I can consider a simple example. 144 is a perfect square and 100 is a perfect square. So when I divide them, I can cancel this by 425s are, and this is 436 are. So after dividing, my answer is what? 36 upon 25. Now your question is this also a perfect square? Yes, this also is a perfect square.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
get my point?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. I'll just take it down. Now,
Sir,
this one.
currently in question number 5,
Mhm.
in the third statement of the answer, it is wrong, right?
Yeah,
It
this is
won't.
wrong. This is wrong. Yeah. So for others, let me just break this down very simply. So over here, what is happening? There is a big square root, uske andar there is a small, uske andar there is a small. So one by one, you'll have to break them. Okay. So first of all, सबसे अंदर जो पड़ा हुआ है ना, उसके साथ ले लो. Because इसको मैं directly ले नहीं सकता because this square root is not इसके अकेले का square root. It's a common square root for everyone. तो सबसे पहले ये ढूंढो कि अकेला मतलब खुद का square root लेके कौन बैठा है? Which number is having its own square root? So this is the only number which is having its own square root, 144. The square root is purely for 144. So let me find the square root of that number now, first of all. So instead of square root of 144, I'll be writing 12. So 12 likha. Then 52 plus 12, I got 64. Now previously this square root was shared by two numbers, 52 and 12, but in दोनों को add करने के बाद now there is only one number. Now the square root is purely for 64. So directly मैं उसको क्या लिखूंगा 8, not square root of 8. This is wrong. I'll write it as 8. Now what I have 248 plus 8. इन दोनों को ऐड करूंगा तो डायरेक्टली क्या मिल जाएगा 256. अब ये स्क्वायर रूट इसके अकेले का है एंड डायरेक्टली टेक स्क्वायर रूट दैट इज नथिंग बट 16 in this case. So my answer is going to be what? 16. Do you see my point?
Yes.
किसी को कोई डाउट है?
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
No,
No,
sir,
sir.
no doubt.
बढ़िया.
No doubt, sir.
Very good. Wonderful. Now this is a shared square root which is shared between four different numbers. Now my first question is, can I break the square root?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We can break it.
Sir,
Because the combinations are between multiplication and division. So yes, why not? We can break it. Okay, anytime we can break it. Not a problem. Just a moment. My laptop will go off. Just connect the charger for our sake. क्लास खत्म होने के लिए सिर्फ 4 ही मिनट बचे हैं लेकिन लैपटॉप के पास 2 ही मिनट बचे हैं तो मैं जल्दी से कनेक्ट कर लेता हूँ. ओके, सो आई हैव कनेक्टेड. नाउ इन दिस केस आप ब्रेक करना है कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट ब्रेक करने के पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये डेसिमल, सो ये सारे डेसिमल दे आर गोइंग टू गिव मी ट्रबल. सो डेसिमल्स को एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं. सो व्हेनेवर वी आर इन फ्रैक्शंस ना, डेसिमल्स को एलिमिनेट करना बिकम्स इजी फॉर अस बिकॉज डेसिमल्स को इन दिस केस इसको डेसिमल को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए व्हाट डू आई हैव टू डू? आई हैव टू मूव दिस डेसिमल 1 2 3 3 टाइम्स फॉर द फर्स्ट नंबर, 1 2 and 3 times for the second number. So total numerator में मुझे 6 times decimal को move करना है. So yes, I don't have a problem in moving decimals for the 6th time. If I'm doing it in the numerator, then I have to do it in the denominator also. So let me do it in the denominator also. So 1 2 3 4 times for this number, 1 2 6 times for this 2 times for the second number, which means total 6 times for the denominator also. So what did I do? I moved the decimal. 0.081 becomes 81. Then the other number becomes 484, 64, 625 and so on. बाकी क्या है? It's very easy. 81 का square root 9, 484 का square root 2, 64 का square root 8, 625 का square root is 25. I've got my numbers. Then इसमें simplification होगा क्या? देख लीजिए. How much ever simplification is possible, you do that. For example, in this case, actually,
sir, you cut 8 and we got 4.
Yeah.
And you cut 22.
So 2 stable में 4 times, 2 stable में 11 times. So this was supposed to be 11, my dear children. So it's 9 multiplied by 11, 99. 4 into 25 is 100. 99 upon 100 means decimal को 2 बार पीछे लेना. It becomes 0.99. That will be your answer. Am I clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Arnav, ask.
Yeah.
What's your query?
Sir, if there would be 6 zeros in the numerator and 5 zeros in the denominator, then we would have to multiply the denominator by 10, right?
Correct. Exactly. So just
Okay, sir.
for your sake, I'll just consider that example. Like for example, if you have यही ले लेता 4 84 and नीचे 625. Let me say this is 4.84 and this is 62.5, something like that, or maybe 0.625 or something like that. So the numbers are not matching basically. That's my point. So what you
Yeah.
have to do, you'll have to okay, I'll write 62.5 only. That's much easier for your understanding this time. So यहाँ पर what did I do? I've taken this 2 times. सो ओवर हियर मेरे पास तो डेसिमल एक ही बार मूव करने का चांस है, 2 बार करने का है ही नहीं, तो मैं दूसरी बार जबरदस्ती करूंगा. आई विल डू forceful moving by inserting a zero over here. Okay, then my fraction becomes what? 484 upon 6250. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sir, in multiplication we can't move the decimal, right? Only in division.
only in division. This facility is only for division. Okay, ठीक है. Now, the next question is find the smallest number by which 2592 should be multiplied so that the product is a perfect square. Now, this is very simple to solve. What do you have to do? You are supposed to find the prime factors of this number 2592. फैक्टराइजेशन मेथड तो आपको पता ही है. फैक्टराइजेशन मेथड कर करके यू फाउंड दीज आर द प्राइम फैक्टर्स. देन नेक्स्ट क्या है? स्क्वायर रूट निकालने के लिए यू हैव टू फाइंड पेयर्स, राइट? परफेक्ट स्क्वायर होने के लिए उसके पास पेयर होने चाहिए. तो ये पेयर ऑफ 3 है. चलो परफेक्ट स्क्वायर ये भी हो गया, परफेक्ट स्क्वायर ये भी हो गया, परफेक्ट स्क्वायर ये भी हो गया, परफेक्ट स्क्वायर. बट ये तो अकेला है. Now since this is alone, right now this is not a perfect square, but इसको आप perfect square बनाना अगर चाहते हो, if you wish to make it a perfect square, you will have to multiply an extra 2 over here so that these two becomes a pair together and then the whole number becomes a perfect square. Okay, so the question was what number should be multiplied so that it becomes a perfect square? The answer is you multiply an extra 2 over here, then it becomes perfect square. Therefore, your answer is option B. Am I clear?
I don't need to.
Sir, if
Yep.
the question was asking the greatest number, then it would be infinity only. Means it can be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Yes.
So your question never comes as greatest number. It always
Yes,
comes
sir.
as small number. Okay. It's the same logic for the next problem as well. So in the next problem, what they're asking, what is the smallest number which we should subtract? Okay. Which we should divide from this number in order to get a perfect square. So what do? You basically break them. Then you find pair वाले कौन है? चलो pair वाले है तो उसका टेंशन नहीं है. जो pair में नहीं है उसको पकड़ेंगे. So you have 2 and 7. So 2 and 7 को if you eliminate, how do you eliminate? You basically divide by 2 and 7 only. So when you divide by 2 and 7, 7 gets cancelled, 2 and 2 gets cancelled, then whatever is remaining is a perfect square. So if the question is asking you what number should we divide, then also it's the same procedure. What number should we multiply, then also it's the same procedure. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Let me. Okay. These problems are for cube root. So the fraction ka answer is what they're asking. So it's very simple. First of all, what you'll do, you'll basically shift the decimals. Okay. You'll make it a complete number 128 upon 54. Then you do basic cancellations. Cancel by 2. So this becomes 64. This becomes 27. 64 ka cube root is 4 and 27 ka cube root is 3.
4.3.
That's how you find the answer for this problem. 9th problem. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, Yes. in the next problem, there is a printing mistake, no? It should
Maybe.
be cube root of 216. It is written square root of 216.
Yeah, this 3 has been, it's come down. Basically, it should be like this. Okay. Yeah. So if cube root of 216 is 6, then cube root of this is how much? So again, it's the same logic I've already told you. So in this case, 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 times decimal को move करना है हमें, है कि नहीं? So square root के
So
case में what did
0.00.
no
Answer will be
0
D.
0 नहीं आएगा. I'll tell you what will be. No, answer will not be
D.
D. So in case of square root, I told you कि decimal को जितने भी बार आप shift कर रहे हो, उसको half करना है ना? हाफ क्यों
अच्छा
बोला?
divide by
क्योंकि it
3.
was a square root. Now this is a cube root, therefore उसको divide by 3 करना है.
6
So in this
upon
case, you
3.
are going to
6
shift the
upon 3
decimal
होगा.
6 times. Therefore, you have to 6 divided by 3 2. So final answer आपको जो भी आएगा उसमें से decimal को 2 बार return shift करना है. I hope I am clear. Okay.
Yes.
Square root में divide by 2,
Yes.
cube root में divide by 3. That's it. So we have completed the solved example. In the next class, what we will be doing? So this exercise is generally for you guys to do as homework. So जो भी IPM के पुराने students हैं, they are very well aware. Generally exercise problems homework में दिया, मतलब मेरे क्लास में तो मैं हमेशा homework में देता हूँ. And इसके अलावा जो worksheet रहता है, so you guys will be provided with worksheets also. So worksheets generally मैं class में solve करता हूँ. So in the next class, I'll be solving the worksheet of this chapter in this class. Okay? So आज के लिए इतना ही काफी है. See you in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.
Sir,
सर नेक्स्ट
sir,
क्लास हम
Bye,
यही
sir.
करेंगे, वर्कशीट ही करेंगे.
इसका worksheet करेंगे, correct?
sir,
So
will
maybe
you upload the worksheet, sir, in the group?
yeah, that is generally provided by Ajinkya sir itself. So I'll ask him to
Okay,
provide
sir.
it to the group. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye, sir.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Yes,
Bye,
sir.